Tools in quality in PMP. In quality, tools are extremely important, and you will see these tools in one way or another in your PMP exam. So I like to give the tools in a way so that you can consider it more of a story form. First of all, one tool that does not fall in any story is audit. Audit is all about checking whether we are following the right process or not. It's all about process. Okay, are you following the right process or not? And the process is defined in quality management plan. So in other words, we are talking, when we talk about audit, we talk about are we following the right process or not. So we agreed on that these are the standards we are going to follow, these are the policies, these are the procedures we are going to follow, and that is defined in the quality management plan. Then we follow it, and the audit can be internal, external, independent. Mostly third party independent audit is one of the most recommended and known thing. Okay. Okay, now let's discuss other tools of quality. Let's say you are quality guy, quality manager, your name is, let's put, John, and you are working in a project. You get there, the deliverable has been made, and you get there, you went there to inspect. Okay, now you went there to inspect, so we are gonna do inspection. Okay, inspection is done with checklist. So you go there, you are visually checking the deliverable, that is actually inspection, and you are going to have checklist with you. Checklist actually shows sequence of steps to you. Are you following step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4? That is the purpose of checklist. Checklist is the most versatile tool that we use in our life. You went to a grocery shop, you have a checklist. You do anything, you have a checklist. So checklist is the tool that you will be using all your life. Now, since you are checking the deliverable, in addition to checklist, if there are defects or things, I also use to count them. So counting is in check sheet 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So check sheet is actually counting. It is there, it is not there. It is there, how many? 1, 2, 3. So we count with that. Checklist is sequence of step, check sheet is counting. Now let's say there are 100,000 things you need to check. Okay, 100,000 things you need to check. I'm a collector of caps. I love to collect caps. Let's say there are 100,000 caps you need to check. You cannot check all the cap in 1 hour. So what do? You do sampling of them. Some of the caps that are there, what will you do? You will do sampling of them. Now, sampling can further be into 2 parts. Either, let's say after every 100 caps, you will check 1 cap, that is called statistical sampling, or you randomly check some of them. Okay, you randomly check some of them. This sampling tool is actually extremely useful, especially in the process industry. You are working in a textile company. I started my career as a maintenance manager, a maintenance engineer. Later I become maintenance manager in Bahrain, West Point home. So what used to happen, it's a textile company. So the cotton, the cloth is running. After a certain time, they come and check it. Like after 30 minutes, 1 hour, or 100 meter, 1000 meter, whatever it was. There was a statistical sampling happening there. Or sometimes they come and randomly check any sample. That was randomly sampling. So sampling can be happening when we are doing inspection. Okay. Sometimes the data is too large. You want to collect from large audience. Okay. So when you want to collect from large audience, this was, let's put it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We use surveys and questionnaires. When the audience is large, when you have a large audience, we use surveys and questionnaires to collect data. If you go to any hotel they ask you please survey us. So what they are doing it, they are trying to get the feedback. So in inspection we can also use that. It can be used with inspection or independently of inspection. Now the purpose is that using checklist, check sheet, sampling, both of them, statistical and random, surveys, questionnaires, we have collected the data. Now we are gonna play with that data. The number one technique that we use to play with data, if we want to plot it across time, like today, tomorrow, 1 month data, I use trend chart. As the name suggests, I am plotting trend across the process, how things are moving, how the trends are moving, what happened yesterday. And with the trend chart I can actually, predict if this is happening before, what is going to happen. So trend chart is very useful, especially we collect the data across the time, we put how the deliverables are moving. This is your trend chart. Okay, now I have plotted the trend chart. I have plotted the trend chart. I can also use histogram. Histogram is a bar graph, just plotting into it. Okay. This is also known as frequency distribution, how the frequency is distributing among that. So histogram is a bar chart. Then we have a special type of histogram that is called Pareto chart. Pareto chart is based on 20-80 principle. So Victor Pareto, he was an Italian scientist. He said that there are few things that matter most. Vital few, trivial many. He actually checked that 20% of the people in Italy, they have 80% of the land, and remaining 80% only have 20% of the land. So there were vital few people, the people who adds more value, they are more valuable than the remaining 80%. To give you an example, let's say you are 10 people in your house, 2 people will make 80% of the salary, or 2 people will make 80% of the troubles. So we, using the same data what we have here, we will plot it and we'll see what are the most important. So Pareto chart is basically, it's a prioritization principle. Okay, prioritization principle that we use. So histogram, Pareto chart. Histogram just shows the data, Pareto chart put into that. Now let's say we had 1,000 problems. Out of 1,000 problems, with the trend chart we can see along the time. With histogram we can plot them in graph. With Pareto chart we put them and we identify these are the 20%, or let's say these are 2-3 things that are actually causing the problem. Now using scatter diagram also known as correlationship diagram. Scatter diagram, I'm gonna find out, let's say there are 2 deliverables and I can do it with multiple deliverables one by one. If I increase X, how the Y impact? Let's say if I increase X, Y increases. If I increase X, Y decreases. If I increase X, Y have no impact. So in this way I find out correlation, relationship between them, correlationship between them. If I increase X and Y increases, we have positive correlation. If I increase X, Y decreases, we have negative correlation. In this way, we identify the relationship between these deliverables, these defects, whatever there are. And then once you have identified, okay, maybe X is the most important, then what do? We use root cause analysis, also known as, this has many names, root cause, Fishbone, Ishikawa, YY, multiple. You put the problem here or defect here, and then you put cause, effect, cause, effect, cause, effect, cause, effect. So causes can be people, the thing, something is happening because of people. The causes can be process, there's a problem in the process with the root cause analysis, equipment, environment. So for example, why this defect was done? Uh, the right process was not followed. Why the right process was not followed? It was not properly conveyed. Why it was not properly conveyed? It was not documented. Why it was not, like why, till you find the bottom of it. Okay, this is fishbone diagram, root cause, why analysis, Ishikawa diagram. Now I have identified the problem. I have identified the problem, but what this problem is, I can improve that thing, right? Further, once you have identified the problem and you want to improve it, we can also use affinity diagram to categorize them, flow chart to show the sequence, right? They are less used in quality, but just to name it. Affinity is categorizing, okay, these are small, medium, large, categorizing the diagram. Flow chart shows the process, that is also used in the quality. But these tools that I just shared, they are the most used tools in quality. Then one more tool, then I guess we are done with this video, is control chart. Once you have identified this, once you have see the problem, now we have our new limits, or we set some limit in order to control the process, right? For example, I like to use analogy of you are making rice. You have a temperature, this can be the maximum temperature, minimum temperature. The rice has to be cooked in between. If you do too quickly, maybe the rice does not cook, or too burn. So there can be multiple parameters. So control charts, they have upper control limit and lower control limit. Upper control limit, lower control, and in between we have a mean. So upper control limit, for example, let's say in quality we follow a lot Six Sigma methodology. Like out of 1 million opportunity, if there are only 3.4 defects, then we do it Six Sigma, right? So it is basically made, Six Sigma methodology is made of define, measure, analyze, improve, control, DMAIC. Whenever you heard the word DMAIC, this is Six Sigma, define, measure, analyze, improve, control, right? So that terminology we can use, let's say positive 3 sigma minus 3 sigma. If in the process shouldn't be between them. If any point goes above or below the upper limit or lower limit, we called it special cause. We investigate it. Acha, these limits are arbitrary, it depends on organization. For example, let's say when my students are doing question answers, what I try to do them, when they are doing stakeholder question, their score in the first topic should not be more than 70% and should not be less than 30%, 40 to 45% in average. But when they work onto it, they do proper root cause analysis. If you did not watch how to do root cause analysis, here is the video, watch that how to do root cause analysis. Once they do proper root cause analysis, then their scores become better. Okay, then their scores become better, and then their scores should improve, and the next limit will become 60%. So if their score is above 70% or less than 30%, we need to investigate it. We need to use root cause analysis, why this actually happened. Another interesting thing here is that there should be variation in the process. Let's say continuously 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, up or down 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is called rule of 7. If continuously 7 points are on one side of the mean, continuously 7 points are one side of the mean, this also needs to be investigated, that what actually happened here, right? So this is control chart, very important to control the process. In this video that what we shared, we discussed about the tools of quality. We started with audit, inspection, checklist, check sheets, sampling, both statistical and random sampling, questionnaires, surveys. We discussed trend chart, histogram, Pareto chart, then root cause analysis, scatter diagram, control chart. We discussed affinity diagram. We discussed flow chart. You can use mind mapping. There are multiple other tools like failure mode effective analysis. But these tools which I explained are the most use tools of quality. I hope you enjoyed that video. If yes, put in the comment what did you specifically learn. If you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do that. I'm gonna put more and more content. And if you love this content and continuously want to learn, here is a video of Agile that I summarize in just 8 minutes. It will give you the entire Agile. And if you want to learn about stakeholder communication team, there is a second video I put it here at the end. You watch it. And of course, if you want to join my program, feel free to reach me. I'll make sure you become PMP. Bye-bye.